Yo, what's up? I'm Connor Proto. Welcome back to Triple Crit for another deck profile. Before we get started, today I'm gonna be trying a little bit of a different format. It's gonna be more zoomed in on the cards, I guess, to make them easier to see. Let me know in the comments below if y'all like this style better than how I was doing it before, with them a little zoomed out where I would hold them up to the camera. But with that out of the way, today we're going to be taking a look at a new collab deck that just came out in the last set, DZBT11. We got the Bravern collab, which came with two different decks, the Bravern and then the Superbia. I've tried both of them out. I like them both. I think Bravern is cool. Superbia, though, I am absolutely loving it. I went undefeated with it at locals on Friday. It is a ton of fun. I mean, it's just an enjoyable deck. I like the game loop of it. I like the numbers, the play style, all of it together is just a really good time. So we're gonna be going over the deck list, some of the interactions in there, and the card choices. Before we get started, though, I do have to shout out Suki Kicks, hopefully I said your name right, if not I'm so sorry, who had originally posted a JP list for this deck, and it's where I got the inspiration from. This deck is pretty one-to-one on that, with one tech choice change and one potential choice change that I'll go over as well. But yeah, I was struggling with this deck. I found their list on Twitter and I tried it out and messed around with it a little, and it just made the deck so enjoyable. So shout out them, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So, starting with the Rideline, first off we have the Grade 0, Organic Lifeform Lulu. Standard, when rode upon, if you win second, draw a card. Nothing special about that card in particular, but it does interact with the Grade 1. So, Grade 1, we have Alien Mechanical Lifeform Superbia Death Drives. All these cards have such long names, it's insane. But when this card is placed on Rearguard Circle, you reveal a Grade 3 card with Superbia and its card name from right deck. Choose an Organic Lifeform Lulu, your Grade 0, from your soul, put it into hand, and then soul charge 1. And then this has continuous as soon as it cannot be boosted, which I get why they did it. They did it so you won't put the Grade 0 behind it to boost and get a free booster. But also, I think it would have been like really cool if you could like boost with the Grade 0. I don't know. I think that would have been a cool little thing. Maybe it's something lore related. I have not watched the anime, so. But you cannot boost it with any unit at all. So. And then the fact that you put the Grade 0 into hand comes into play when we ride into the Grade 2. The Brandish Passion Superbia Death Drives. So when this unit's placed by riding from the Grade 1, you will put an Organic Lifeform Lulu from Rearguard or hand into Soul. So I guess technically you could put it on the Rearguard Circle, boost another unit if you want to. I like to keep mine safe in my hand because you do not want to whiff this next part. It is very important. So you put the Organic Lifeform Lulu from Rearguard or hand into Soul. Search your deck for up to one Hero of the Future Lulu. Reveal it, put it into hand, shuffle the deck. And if you revealed a card, you put a Soul Stirring Clash token into your order zone. So this is the Soul Stirring Clash. This is the deck set order that you get when you ride into the Grade 2. Basically the deck's crest. It has two effects. The first one is once per turn you can EB3, choose a Hero of the Future Lulu from your drop and call it to Rearguard Circle. And the second effect, which makes this deck really cool, gives it some good matchups into certain decks. And it's just a really neat effect, especially when you see some of the interactions we have later with it. Is at the beginning of battle phase, if you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Superbia in its card name, which is very relevant, we'll go over that a little bit later, you Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards. Till end of turn, that unit cannot intercept, and when your Vanguard with Superbia in its card name would attack, it also battles that chosen unit as well. So you cut off intercepts or decks like Vergilla, decks like Weisruger, anything that has a big interceptor, you cut those off. They cannot intercept. It actually hard counters Bravern's entire game plan of intercepting with 10k shield robots and dragging the pilot along, which is very funny that it counters the other collab deck. But they cannot intercept with it, and then when Vanguard attacks, it would attack that unit also. So the nice little front row board clear, as well as stopping some of their shield value. So you get that when you ride into the Grade 2. And then finally, we have the Grade 3. Lone Warrior Superbia Death Drives. So, this thing has a couple effects. The first one is continuous. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and your soul has a Hero of the Future Lulu, this unit gets plus 5k. So on your turn and your opponent's turn, it is an 18k base power. It also has, when its unit attacks, perform all the following. Put a Brave Bang Bravern Rearguard with Lulu in its card name into soul, and its unit gets plus 5k and drive plus 1 till end of turn. And then CB1, choose a column and stand all of your Brave Bang Bravern Rearguards in that column. So it is a 4-attack deck. Punching down, you still get the 5k and 3 drives. If your opponent is on grade 3, you technically get plus 10k because of the continuous effect plus the effect of putting Lulu in there. It is very nice to punch down 18k 3 drives when your opponent is at grade 2 and has not really had a chance to stabilize yet. Also, shout out the EXS. I absolutely love. I am going to get a little up in the camera. I absolutely love the way they did this one. After I went undefeated, I picked up a copy of this and a copy of Lulu because I got a good deal on them, and I love the way they look. But yeah, so it's an 18k base Vanguard as long as Lulu is a Hero of the Future. There are two. There is the Rideline Lulu, and then there is the Hero of the Future Lulu, which we'll get into in a second. Hero of the Future Lulu has to be in your soul for you to be 18k base power. It's very funny because people, even though I put the 5k dice on there all the time, people forget it's 18k and will try and swing a 15k into it, and I'm like, no, it doesn't hit. Try again. All right. So, starting with the deck, we will start with the grade 1s. We are running 3 copies of Great Sickle of White Flash Balderade. So the first effect doesn't matter because your order zone will never have 2 or more set orders unless you put in some weird order package, but we'll only ever have 1, so that part doesn't matter. What does matter is at the end of battle unit boosted, if your order zone has a set order, which the token order is a token set order, you put this unit into soul, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 2 or greater card, or up to 1 set order from among them, reveal it, put into hand, and shuffle the deck. So there's 2 specific cards, and I will point them out as we go through, that this is searching for. It is crucial. One of them is very important for you to find. And then the other one, well, they're both important for you to find. One is your aggressor piece, and one is like your lifesaver piece. So I'll point them out as we go through, but this card is insane. It completely changed the way I play this deck because I was struggling with finding some pieces before, and this finds me the pieces that I absolutely need. So great card. Definitely a must-have for the deck. I believe they're sitting at like 15 a pop right now. So if you're a Brant player, you probably already have some. If not, this deck does run quite a bit of Brant generic, so that's really going to be the only price point in it because the Bravern stuff is fairly cheap. Next, and this is where my deck list varied a little bit from the one I had originally gone off of, I run 4 copies of Bobble Mine. They were running the promo that if the unit that this unit boosted attack hits countercharge. I personally don't like having to bank on hitting because people can deny you your countercharge, versus Bobble Mine is guaranteed. It is a grade 1 that says that in the battle, this unit boosted. If your order zone has a set order, put this unit in soul, countercharge 1. And it's not once per turn. It's not like if you haven't countercharged this turn or anything like that. So it's really good to keep your opponent from damage denying you, but it's also a really good extender with one of our other cards that we'll look at in the grade 2 section. They can let you aggress a lot harder. So I think Bobble Mine at 4 of is a must-have because you use a lot of counter blasts in this deck. It also gives you some extra soul, which you're never really hurting too much for soul, but it doesn't hurt to have extra just in case, because we do have a few cards that use soul, including the set order. Next, we have the infamous card that everyone knows from this set. We have the Let's Go Unk. Hero of the Future Lulu. This card is the one that you need to have in your soul to gain the additional 5k on both turns. It's a really good card. So the first effect does not apply to this list I am running. Basically, when it's discarded, you can CB1, search your deck for this order card that lets you call stuff out. The order card is awful in this deck. Unless you're going like a pure Bravern build, but that is, as someone who tried that, trust me, it is doo-doo. You do not want to do that. So the second effect, the important one we have, is once per turn, if you have a Vanguard with Superbia in its card name, rest this unit, choose one of your rear guards, it gets plus 5k until end of turn. And if you choose a rear card with Superbia in its card name in the same column as this unit, stand this unit. And then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, until end of turn when you would choose your opponent's rear guards by the auto ability of the set order, choose 2 rear guards instead of 1. So basically when you do your Soul Blast 1 and you choose one of their front row rear guards, you now get to choose 2, which means you cut off intercepts to both of their front row rear guards and you attack their entire front row when you swing your Vanguard. Again, really good, especially into like Vice Ruger, who wants to intercept to bot deck stuff and get bonus shield value. And it's also basically a free board wipe every turn because you're swinging 18k. Actually, no, that's a lie. If they're on grade 3, you're swinging 23k without Persona Ride. So for them to guard their Vanguard plus their units, it's just going to eat up their hand, and they're more than likely not going to do it. So it's really nice. You put it behind one of your Superbia units, rest it, give that unit 5k, restand this, boost on attack. Then when you swing Vanguard, you shove this one into Soul, and then restand that rear guard. It keeps the 5k from her. And that's just kind of how you cycle them. I'll kind of go over a little bit later, but you definitely want to have at least 2 of these in rotation so that you can make sure you have your effect of putting one into Soul every turn. There's a couple ways to get around that if you only have 1 in rotation, but we will look at that as we get into the grade 2s. Next on our grade 2s, or I guess we're now getting into the grade 2s because that was a grade 1. We run 3 of the Rideline grade 2. This does nothing. It does nothing special except it has Superbia in its name. So if Lulu is behind it, you rest it, you give it 5k, you get to restand her. That makes it a 23k column swinging, which is nice. So that's the only reason. We need more cards with Superbia in their name so we can rest her and restand or use her as a booster. That is the only reason it's in here. Nothing to really cover on that one. Next, we run 3 of the Bullet of Creation. So this thing is good for 2 reasons. The first one is when it is put on guard circle from hand, or discarded from hand. Put on guard circle from hand or discard from hand while riding from the ride deck. You CB1, EB3, draw a card. It's just the energy cycler. But the second effect is also really good. So when it's placed on rearguard circle, if you Persona Road this turn, CB1, EB3, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or greater unit card with a different card name from your Vanguard, or up to 1 set order, reveal it, put into hand, shuffle your deck. If you revealed a card, choose a card from your hand and discard it. There is a card, there's a grade 4 card in here we'll go over in a little bit that wants to be in your drop. It wants to be in your drop. So if you Persona Road and you have not found it yet and game's looking a little dicey, you slam him, you CB1 or EB3, you search your deck for it, and then you discard it for cost. And it's so good. It's so good. But obviously, if you have in your hand opening and you're riding up, you want to use it. You do have to make sure you balance your energy use between this and calling out Lulu. So make sure you have enough Lulus in hand that you don't need to call one from drop so you can use it. You can also use the CB if you want, especially if you have some Boba Mines in hand. So you just have to make sure to balance your resource use. Next, we have one of my absolute favorite cards in the deck. I think this card's insane. I absolutely love it, and it is a card that you have to sequence a lot. So, auto, it says Vanguard Rearguard Circle because this is the one that D-Legions with Bravern. We're going to only be using it as a rear guard in this deck. When this unit attacks, if your order zone has a Brave Knights symbol, which is the other deck, or Soul Stirring Clash, which is our deck, CB1, draw a card, and if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, all your front row units get plus 5k till end of turn. The second one doesn't matter, that's just for the D-Legion on Bravern, which we are not on. So this one's really nice because you play it, you rest Lulu, you give it 5k, you restand it, now it's now a 23k column, but when you swing, you CB1, draw a card, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it is now a 28k column. Magic number off rip. It is not once per turn, so when you restand this unit with your Vanguard's ability, and you have enough CB, you swing it again, CB again, draw another card, another 5k to front row. So that's why I was saying earlier, like the Boba Mine is a really good extender for this deck. You can use Boba Mine to guarantee you have this plus the restand, or that you can do this again after the restand. It just kind of helps you extend and buff your front row some more. It is very nice. This card's great. This is one of the cards you're looking for off Balderade, the grade 1 that goes into Soul Check top 5 for a grade 2 or higher unit card. It's an amazing card. I love this card so much. Next, so this card's insane in this deck. So we have the Pride Cycler for Brant. It says, when this card is placed on rearguard circle from hand other than by a unit card's ability, or discard from hand while riding from the ride deck, choose a card with Persona Ride from your ride deck. You may reveal it. If you revealed a card or have a Vanguard Persona Ride, Soul Blast 1, put a Persona Shield ticket into hand. And when this attacks a grade 3 or greater until end of that battle, you get plus 5k. So Persona ticket, if you don't know, is a 10k Blitz order that lets you play another Blitz order that turn. So the reason this card is insane, and I did not see the vision at first, I had to grind games with this, is if you only have one Lulu in rotation, it is in your soul, and you cannot get it onto the field to shove into soul for Vanguard effect to give the 5k and drive plus 1. The order effect is beginning of combat, so you cannot soul blast it out then. This is your only way to soul blast Lulu out during main phase. So if you only have one in rotation, you have this in hand, you play it, soul blast it out, get the Persona ticket. It does not matter, because by the time your Vanguard swings, you'll be shoving it back into soul, so the 5k it's losing, it'll get right back. It's so good, because you also get a Persona ticket. So you'll play this, soul blast out Lulu, EB3 call Lulu, and now Lulu is on the field, rest it, give a unit 5k, then when Vanguard swings, shove Lulu into soul, plus 5k, drive plus 1. If you have these in hand, you can also use them for ride up, obviously, especially if you have seen at least 2 Lulus already. But it took me a little while to see the vision on this one, but it's insane. It's the only way for you to cycle Lulu during main phase. Next, we have our one of Brantgate Ace unit. Not as good in this deck, but when you need to find something, you need to find something. So when this unit is placed on rearguard other than during the battle phase, it gets plus 5k till end of turn. EB3, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, put into hand, shuffle the deck. And if your order zone is 2 or more Vayne players' cards, like top 5 cards instead, we will never have more than 1 order in our order zone, which is fine. So it's just a check top 3, add a card to hand. And then when this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, until end of that battle, it gets plus 5k, then you can rest a set order and give it another 5k. So it's by itself, if you play it while your opponent's at grade 3, it's a 25k swinger, 30 if you swing with the other Superbia first, the rear guard one, that's CP1 gift plus 5k of front row. So all the Ace units have a decent amount of power attached to them, but the biggest thing this is for is just to dig top 3 to find your pieces. Because you need to find that grade 2. You want to try and find at least 2 Superbia grade 2 units, regardless of which ones they are, and then you need to really try and have 2 Lulus in rotation. Next, we are running 3 copies of Persona Ride. Sadly, they are not the fancy version. I could only afford 1. Womp womp. We already know what it does, so it is just Persona Ride. Next is the card I've been talking about this whole time. It's a card you're looking off Balderade. It's a card you're adding off the Energy Cycler and discarding. It is an insane card that I think is hilarious, and it actually clutched my game against Youthberg the other day. It is True Life Verum Vita Death Drives. So you may only have 1 copy of this card in the deck. When your damage check reveals a card other than heal or OT, if you have a grade 3 Vanguard with Death Drives in its card name and your damage zone has 5 cards, ride this card, okay, from drop. I should read the first part. Auto from drop, so it does have to be in drop. So basically, when your 6 damage reveals a trigger other than heal or T, and you have 5 cards, you ride this card from drop, and the number of cards in your damage zone for you to lose becomes 7 until end of this fight. Now, once you're on this, you do lose a Soul Blast ability, and you can't do 4 attacks. You're down to 3. It is a grade 4 though, so you do have triple drive, and it does have 1 more effect. And the first time I read this, I missed part of this, and I thought it only affected my opponent, but no, it is the entire board. When this unit attacks, if your damage zone has 6 or more cards, CB1, retire all of your and your opponent's rear guards. So when you're on this, if you are at 6 damage, you swing, you CB1, you just nuke the entire board, which is kind of funny. And I mean, this is usually something that's coming in late in the game when you're grinding it out. So if their hand is kind of small, they don't have a lot of stuff to play, you can, you know, swing your rear guard, swing rear guard, and then swing this and just nuke the entire board, which I think is hilarious. But you do lose the intercept restrict, the Soul Blast 1, because you do have to be on a Superbia Vanguard. But yeah, this thing came out against my fight in Youthburg, and I managed to clutch it up on the next turn when it came back to me. So insane card. The first time I read this, I was like, is this card real? This is the reason I built the deck, actually. I was going through my friend's Bolt comment, and I was like, what is this card? I read it, and I was like, this is insane. I was like, I want to build this deck. I want to try it out. That's what led here. Led me here. Yeah, got me here. Whatever. You know what I mean. Hilarious card, actually. For the Regalis piece, I am running Fire Regalis just because you do want to find your pieces. You do want to find your grade 2 Superbias. I am contemplating changing this to Shroud. So the thing with Shroud is I can Soul Blast out a Bulba Mine for cost and then call back the grade 2 plus a Bulba Mine, or call back the grade 2 plus another Lulu or something like that. I am a little back and forth. I have not tried it out with Shroud. The only reason I really like Fire Regalis is because it is another discard target. I like having discard targets for ride up and PGs and stuff like that. So I might try Shroud. I think Fire is good. I think you could also do Shroud. If you do try out Shroud, let me know how it goes, because it is next on my to-do list. After that, I'll get into our Sentinels. I am just running 4 PGs, the in archetype PGs. Everything will be okay, for I am Bravern. You can do 3 PGs, 1 Elementaria. There's not any Blitz orders in this deck. There's nothing that's... Well, I guess there's the quick shields, but you can always play another Blitz order after that, and you're never going to really have more than like 1 in your hand. So you could definitely run 3 PGs and Elementaria. I just went for 3 PGs because I didn't feel like digging up an Elementaria. Plus, they're all in archetype, so it looks neat. So we're just keeping it on theme. But yeah, nothing crazy there. After that, we run the standard 8 crit. Again, all in archetype, because gotta run the robot triggers in the robot deck. We run 4 heals because I think it's crazy not to run 4 heals. Again, they are the Bravern heals, all in archetype. For our extra trigger of choice, we went with front triggers. These should be in Pyros. I just don't have them. I ordered some earlier, but I just don't have them. So I was like, I will just go in archetype for the front triggers also. This deck draws a decent amount, especially with that grade 2 that CB wants to draw, and then you having 3 drives every turn. You're usually not hurting too bad for hand. Also, being at 18k makes your guards a little easier, so you use up a little less cards from hand. So you don't need draw triggers. Front triggers work just fine. The effect ones, the Empiros, are definitely the trigger of choice here. As soon as they come in, I will be swapping them out. But for now, I decided to run with the front triggers and archetype. And then, of course, we're playing an aggro Brant deck. So what OT do we run other than Elder Breath? I mean, you have to. You have to. If you're playing aggro, you have to. I felt bad my last game of the round. I will say I did sack on my final round at locals, okay, against youth. I was playing a friend of mine. He was a grade 2, and I went blank, Elder Breath, draw, crit, and I was like, oh, and he just died on the spot. So Elder Breath is insane. So, you know, when you're playing an aggressive Brant deck, I don't think there's any other option. If you're playing defensively, you could play some other stuff. But yeah, I don't think any OT beats Elder Breath for this deck. It's just too good. So that is the full deck list. Again, shout out Suki Kicks for posting the list on Twitter. It's a great list. Thank you for cooking and giving me a base to go off of. This deck is a ton of fun. If you already own the brand staples, it is dirt cheap. The Bravern stuff is very, very cheap. So I would definitely check it out. The game loop is pretty simple. So typically the board we want to have is this and then at least one Lulu. So let's say I put Lulu back here. Rest Lulu, 5k here. Lulu restands because she buffed a Superbia in the same column. We swing here. CB1, 5k to front row, draw a card. We swing our Vanguard, put her into Soul. Plus 5k, drive plus 1, CB1 to restand this column. If we're boosting Vanguard with a Boba Mine, we can extend even further. We hit our 3 drives and then, you know, we swing again. If I have another CB, I'll CB again. If my opponent is grade 3 or greater, it'll be another 5k to front row. At this point on our first turn, we have 10k to front row. And then swing our last. If we have another CB, then we just full send on that too. So typically we want to try and do 2 Lulus, rest them both, give them both plus 5k. That way, by the time we get to this point, he's swinging for 30k, which is a magic number. But that's pretty much the gameplay loop. Then next turn, you want to put another Lulu down. You'll Soul Blast this one at the beginning of combat. You'll put the new one to Soul. Next turn, you'll EB3, call this one out. Soul Blast that one, beginning of combat, shove this one to Soul, and the loop continues. You really just need to have at least 2 Lulus in play, in rotation. So that's the deck. If you enjoy big robots, if you enjoy punching down with 3 drives at 18k while your opponent's only on grade 2, and a pretty basic game loop that can have some little technicalities, as well as dying at 7 damage, shout out my boy Greedon, then this is definitely a deck for you to check out. Like I said, if you own the Brandgate staples, you are good to go. Bravern stuff is dirt cheap. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the deck. If you try it out, let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully here soon I will have a deck profile coming out on the other Bravern deck that we got with this set. So thanks again for tuning in, and take care of yourselves.